The transmission began at exactly 11:23 p.m., broadcast from what appeared to be a secure location somewhere in rural Colombia. Former DEA Special Agent Robert Martinez, whose 30-year career investigating international drug trafficking had been abruptly terminated in 2019, sat surrounded by boxes of classified documents, surveillance photographs, and recording equipment that the American government had ordered destroyed. His weathered face bore the scars of someone who had spent decades fighting a war that he now realized had been designed to fail from the beginning. Behind him, maps of South American drug routes and organizational charts showing connections between cartels and U.S. intelligence agencies painted a picture of corruption that reached the highest levels of American power. "My name is Robert Martinez," he began, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had spent 3 decades pursuing the truth about international drug trafficking. "For over 30 years, I believed I was fighting to protect America from the scourge of illegal drugs. Tonight, I reveal the devastating truth. The biggest drug trafficking organization in history wasn't the Colombian cartels, the Mexican syndicates, or the Afghan poppy farmers. It was the United States government, and the Bush family was its founding dynasty." He held up a classified CIA document marked Operation Snow White, Eyes Only, dated 1975. "What you are about to see and hear are classified government records, DEA surveillance footage, and recorded conversations that prove the Bush family has been the primary coordinator of cocaine trafficking into the United States for over 50 years, using CIA resources and government protection to build a multi-billion-dollar criminal empire disguised as public service." The origins of the empire. Martinez began by revealing the true story of how the Bush family cocaine empire began, tracing its origins to George H.W. Bush's early CIA career and his coordination with South American drug cartels in the 1960s. "The Bush family's involvement in drug trafficking didn't begin with Iran-Contra," Martinez explained, displaying declassified CIA cables from the 1960s. "It began in 1961 when George H.W. Bush was recruited by the CIA to establish drug smuggling routes that would fund covert operations without congressional oversight. The first recording he played was from 1967, captured by DEA surveillance of what appeared to be a meeting between George H.W. Bush and Colombian cartel leader Pablo Escobar's predecessor, Gonzalo Rodriguez Gocha. "The arrangement is simple," came Bush's unmistakable voice, younger but clearly identifiable. "You provide the product. We provide the transportation and protection. CIA planes bring cocaine north. Your money funds our operations south. Everyone profits, and Congress never sees the budget line items." "What about law enforcement?" asked the Colombian voice in broken English. "DEA raids will target your competitors, not your operations," replied Bush. "We'll eliminate your rivals while protecting your market share. The war on drugs will actually be a war for drugs, our drugs." Martinez paused the recording, his face showing the mixture of disgust and vindication that comes from finally being able to expose decades of corruption. "Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard the future President of the United States establishing the framework for the largest drug trafficking conspiracy in human history. The CIA Transportation Network." The recordings revealed how the CIA had systematically converted its aircraft and military bases into a massive drug transportation network, moving tons of cocaine from South America to the United States while maintaining plausible deniability through compartmentalized operations. "Air America wasn't just moving weapons to Southeast Asia," Martinez continued, displaying flight logs from the 1970s showing CIA aircraft making regular runs between Colombia and various U.S. military bases. The same planes that dropped weapons in Vietnam were picking up cocaine in Colombia and delivering it to distribution networks throughout the United States. A second recording from 1975 revealed the operational details of what the CIA called Operation Snow White, a systematic cocaine smuggling operation that generated billions in untraceable funding for covert operations. "Monthly delivery capacity has reached 15 tons," reported a voice that Martinez identified as CIA Operations Director Theodore Shackley during what appeared to be a briefing with George H.W. Bush, then CIA Director. "Distribution networks in Miami, Los Angeles, and New York are operating at maximum efficiency. Revenue projections exceed $2 billion annually." "Detection risks?" asked Bush. Minimal, replied Shackley. We control DEA operations in target areas. Coast Guard interdiction focuses on decoy shipments, and customs inspections avoid designated aircraft. The system is essentially immune to law enforcement interference. The recording revealed that the CIA had systematically corrupted federal law enforcement agencies to protect its drug trafficking operations, ensuring that investigations targeted competitor organizations while CIA shipments moved freely through American ports and airports. The money laundering machine. Martinez revealed recordings that exposed how Bush family businesses had been specifically created to launder cocaine profits, converting drug money into legitimate political campaign funding and business investments. Zapata Oil Corporation wasn't just an energy company, Martinez explained, displaying financial records showing suspicious cash deposits and international transfers. It was the primary money laundering vehicle for CIA cocaine profits, converting drug money into legitimate business investments that funded the Bush family's political rise. A recording from 1978 revealed George H.W. Bush discussing money laundering strategies with associates who would later become major figures in his presidential administration. The beauty of the oil business, Bush explained in the recording, is that cash transactions are common, international transfers are routine, and profit margins are variable enough to absorb any amount of additional revenue. We can clean $100 million per month through Zapata operations without raising regulatory suspicion. IRS concerns? Asked a voice identified as future Treasury Secretary James Baker. IRS audits will focus on political opponents, not our operations, replied Bush. We have assets throughout the federal bureaucracy who ensure that investigations avoid our activities in American history. The Reagan years represent our greatest opportunity, Bush explained in a 1982 recording with CIA officials and cartel representatives. With me as vice president, we can expand operations throughout Central America, increase volume tenfold, and establish permanent infrastructure for future generations. The recording revealed details of what would later become known as the Iran-Contra scandal, but with a twist that mainstream media had never reported. The primary purpose wasn't funding Nicaraguan rebels, but expanding cocaine trafficking operations. The Contra War provides perfect cover, continued Bush in the recording. We arm both sides, prolong the conflict, and use the chaos to expand our transportation networks. Every CIA flight to Nicaragua returns with cocaine shipments. Martinez revealed that Manuel Noriega, the Panamanian dictator later invaded by Bush's own administration, had been a key partner in the cocaine trafficking network. Noriega processed payments and provided staging areas, Martinez explained. The 1989 invasion wasn't about democracy or drug trafficking. It was about eliminating a witness who knew too much about Bush family operations. The George W. Bush inheritance. Perhaps most shocking were recordings that proved George W. Bush had inherited and expanded the family cocaine empire, using his position as Texas governor and later president to protect and enhance drug trafficking operations. Jr. shows real aptitude for the family business. George H.W. Bush was recorded saying in 1995 during what appeared to be a strategy meeting with cartel leaders and CIA operatives. His connections in Texas law enforcement, combined with his natural political instincts, make him ideal for expanding our southern border operations. A recording from 1998 revealed George W. Bush, then Texas governor, coordinating with Mexican cartels to establish smuggling routes that would later become the primary conduits for fentanyl trafficking. The Mexican border represents unlimited expansion potential, explained George W. Bush in the recording. We establish partnerships with emerging cartels, provide them with CIA protection, and take percentage cuts of all shipments. Immigration enforcement will focus on human trafficking while ignoring drug shipments. Competition from other criminal organizations? Asked a Mexican voice. Eliminated through selective law enforcement, replied Bush. DEA raids will target independent operators while protecting our partners. The war on drugs will actually be a war against our competitors. The 9/11 drug connection. Martinez revealed the most explosive evidence of all, recordings that proved the September 11th attacks had been used as cover for the largest expansion of drug trafficking operations in history. September 11 provides unprecedented opportunities. George W. Bush was recorded saying during what appeared to be a post-attack planning session with CIA officials and cartel representatives, "Enhanced security measures will focus on terrorism while ignoring drug shipments. Military operations in Afghanistan will secure poppy production. Homeland security will protect our distribution networks." The recording revealed that the invasion of Afghanistan had been primarily motivated by the desire to control global heroin production rather than eliminate terrorism. Afghan poppy fields represent 90% of global heroin supply, explained CIA Director George Tenet in the recording. By controlling Afghanistan, we control global narcotics markets. Taliban elimination removes our only serious competition. Martinez revealed that Bush administration officials had coordinated with both Colombian cocaine cartels and Afghan poppy farmers to create an integrated global drug trafficking network using American military resources. The cartel coordination. The recordings exposed detailed coordination between the Bush family and major drug cartels, revealing that supposed enemies were actually business partners in a carefully orchestrated criminal conspiracy. El Chapo works for us, not against us. George W. Bush was recorded explaining to Border Patrol officials in 2003. His organization provides distribution services in exchange for protection from prosecution. DEA operations will focus on his competitors while ensuring his routes remain operational. A recording from 2005 revealed coordination between Bush administration officials and leaders of multiple cartels to divide territory and eliminate competition. The Sinaloa cartel gets California and Arizona, detailed a voice identified as DEA Administrator Karen Tandy during what appeared to be a coordination meeting. Gulf cartel controls Texas operations. Los Zetas handle enforcement and competitor elimination. Each organization pays 20% of gross revenue to CIA accounts. Conflict resolution? Asked another voice. Managed through selective law enforcement, replied Tandy. When disputes arise, we eliminate troublemakers while protecting cooperative partners. The cartels believe they're competing with each other when they're actually working for us. The pharmaceutical connection. Martinez revealed recordings that proved the opioid crisis had been deliberately engineered to create new markets for both legal and illegal drug trafficking operations. Pharmaceutical opioids create addicted populations who transition to heroin when prescriptions become unavailable, explained a voice identified as Health and Human Services Secretary Tommy Thompson during a 2004 planning session. We coordinate with pharmaceutical companies to create addiction, then profit from both legal prescriptions and illegal alternatives. Regulatory oversight? Asked another voice. FDA approvals focus on profit potential rather than safety concerns, replied Thompson. We approve addictive medications while suppressing non-addictive alternatives. The goal is creating permanent customer bases for both pharmaceutical companies and drug cartels. The recording revealed that the Bush administration had deliberately weakened drug safety regulations to enable the creation of massive addiction populations that would generate profits for both legal pharmaceutical companies and illegal drug trafficking networks. The Financial Intelligence Network. The recordings exposed how the Bush family had used their control of financial intelligence agencies to protect drug money while targeting political opponents for financial crimes. FinCEN reports will identify money laundering by political opponents while ignoring our operations, explained Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson during a 2007 briefing. We can trigger investigations of any politician or business leader who opposes our agenda while protecting unlimited drug money flows through our networks. A recording from 2008 revealed coordination between Treasury officials and major banks to facilitate drug money laundering on an unprecedented scale. Bank of America, J.P. Morgan Chase, and Wells Fargo have agreed to process unlimited cash deposits without suspicious activity reports, detailed a Treasury official whose name Martinez could not reveal for security reasons. Drug money gets converted to legitimate business loans, political campaign contributions, and real estate investments. Detection risks? Asked George W. Bush. Zero, replied the official. We control the agencies that investigate money laundering. The system is designed to protect our operations while eliminating competition. The Afghanistan heroin empire. Martinez revealed recordings that proved the Bush administration had used the war in Afghanistan to establish the largest heroin trafficking operation in history, converting American military resources into drug transportation networks. Afghan heroin production has increased 4,000% since our invasion, reported a voice identified as Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld during a 2006 briefing. Military transport aircraft are moving 50 tons monthly to distribution networks in Europe and North America. Revenue exceeds $10 billion annually. NATO partner involvement? Asked Bush. British intelligence coordinates European distribution. Canadian intelligence handles North American routes, replied Rumsfeld. The entire NATO alliance has become a drug trafficking consortium disguised as a military operation. The recording revealed that poppy eradication programs in Afghanistan were deliberately designed to fail, actually protecting and expanding heroin production while providing cover for military involvement in drug trafficking. The presidential succession plan. The recordings revealed that drug trafficking operations were designed to continue regardless of which political party controlled the presidency, with both Republican and Democratic candidates serving the same drug trafficking interests. Obama understands the arrangement. George W. Bush was recorded explaining during what appeared to be a 2008 transition briefing. His Chicago connections already coordinate with our distribution networks. Policy continuity is guaranteed regardless of election outcomes. Democratic opposition concerns? Asked another voice. Democrats profit from drug money as much as Republicans, replied Bush. Campaign contributions, business investments, and personal enrichment create bipartisan support for operational continuity. The war on drugs will continue under any administration because all sides profit from it. The recording revealed that major Democratic politicians, including several who had publicly criticized drug trafficking, were actually partners in the Bush family cocaine empire. The technology surveillance network. Martinez revealed recordings that proved the Bush administration had used post-9/11 surveillance capabilities to protect drug trafficking operations while monitoring potential threats to the criminal network. NSA capabilities allow us to monitor all communications by law enforcement officials investigating our operations, explained a voice identified as NSA Director Michael Hayden during a 2007 briefing. We can identify and eliminate threats before they develop while protecting our transportation and distribution networks. Judicial oversight? Asked Bush. FISA courts approve our surveillance requests without examining operational details, replied Hayden. We can monitor any person or organization in America without meaningful oversight. Drug trafficking networks operate under complete intelligence protection. The recording revealed that advanced surveillance technologies developed for counterterrorism had been primarily used to protect drug trafficking operations and eliminate law enforcement officials who posed threats to the criminal network. The current operations. As his broadcast neared its conclusion, Martinez revealed that Bush family drug trafficking operations continued to the present day, with current political leaders serving the same criminal interests regardless of their public positions. The cocaine empire didn't end when George W. Bush left office, Martinez explained. It expanded under Obama, continued under Trump, and operates at maximum capacity under Biden. Every administration serves the same drug trafficking interests because the system is too profitable and too entrenched to eliminate. He revealed that current border security measures were designed to protect rather than prevent drug trafficking, with enforcement focused on human trafficking while drug shipments moved freely through designated corridors. Border walls don't stop drugs. They channel them through CIA-controlled checkpoints, Martinez continued. Immigration enforcement provides cover for the largest drug trafficking operation in history. The victim impact. Martinez revealed recordings that showed how Bush administration officials had discussed the devastating impact of their drug trafficking operations on American communities with complete indifference to human suffering. Inner-city addiction rates serve our political interests. George W. Bush was recorded explaining during a 2005 domestic policy meeting. High crime rates justify expanded police powers, social breakdown prevents organized political opposition, and prison populations provide cheap labor for our corporate partners. Rehabilitation program effectiveness? Asked another voice. Designed to fail, replied Bush. Treatment programs receive minimal funding while ensuring permanent addiction populations. The goal is creating dependent populations who require government assistance while generating profits through incarceration. The recording revealed that the Bush administration had deliberately sabotaged drug treatment programs to maintain addiction populations that generated profits through both drug sales and prison labor. The whistleblower elimination. Martinez revealed recordings that exposed systematic campaigns to eliminate law enforcement officials and journalists who had attempted to expose drug trafficking operations. Gary Webb's investigation threatened operational security, explained a voice from a 1996 meeting that Martinez identified as belonging to CIA Director John Deutch. His elimination sends a message to other journalists while discrediting his findings through character assassination and professional destruction. Future journalism concerns? Asked George H.W. Bush. Controlled through media ownership, advertising pressure, and if necessary, permanent solutions, replied Deutch. Independent investigation of our operations will not be tolerated. The recording revealed that dozens of DEA agents, journalists, and prosecutors who had attempted to investigate Bush family drug trafficking operations had been eliminated through assassination, character destruction, or career termination. The International Network. Martinez revealed recordings disguised as intelligence cooperation. Competition from independent cartels? Asked another voice. Eliminated through military intervention, economic warfare, or direct assassination, replied Bush. Any criminal organization that operates without our approval gets destroyed through coordinated international action. The recording revealed that major international conflicts and regime change operations had been primarily motivated by the desire to eliminate drug trafficking competition rather than promote democracy or human rights. The ultimate confession. In his most explosive final revelation, Martinez played a recording that he claimed was from a recent Bush family reunion discussing current operations and their plans for maintaining power through continued drug trafficking. 50 years of drug trafficking has given us more wealth and political power than any family in American history, came a voice that Martinez identified as belonging to a current member of the Bush family whose name he could not reveal for security reasons. We control banks, intelligence agencies, law enforcement, and political parties. The cocaine empire has made us untouchable. Future operational concerns? Asked another voice. None, replied the coordinator. We've created a system that protects itself and eliminates all threats. The American people will never know that their government is the biggest drug dealer in history. The call for justice. Martinez concluded his broadcast with a direct appeal to the American people and a warning about his own safety. I know that releasing this evidence puts my life in immediate danger, he said, staring directly into the camera. The same people who have murdered thousands of law enforcement officials, journalists, and political opponents to protect their drug empire will not hesitate to kill me. But I can no longer remain silent while the Bush family and their CIA partners destroy American communities through drug trafficking disguised as public service. He called for immediate congressional investigations, special prosecutors, and international drug trafficking tribunals. If we allow this criminal network to continue operating, he warned, we guarantee that future generations will live under the control of drug dealers disguised as political leaders. The aftermath. The broadcast ended at 3:47 a.m., but its impact would reverberate throughout the American political system for decades. Within hours, #BushCocaineEmpire was trending globally with over 200 million mentions. Congressional phone lines were overwhelmed with demands for investigations. International drug enforcement agencies began questioning their cooperation with American intelligence services. Most significantly, families and communities devastated by drug addiction finally understood that their suffering had been deliberately caused by the same government that claimed to be fighting drugs. The recordings had proven beyond doubt that America's war on drugs had been the greatest fraud in political history, a cover story for the largest drug trafficking operation ever conceived. The question now was whether the American people would demand justice for the Bush family's cocaine empire, or whether the criminal network would successfully eliminate this threat as it had eliminated so many others. Martinez's final words echoed across the internet. "The evidence is overwhelming. The choice is yours. Will you continue to accept government lies about drug trafficking, or will you demand justice for the millions of victims of the Bush family cocaine empire?" The answer to that question would determine whether America remained under the control of drug dealers disguised as politicians, or whether the people would finally reclaim their country from the criminal networks that had hijacked it.